everything golden.
Finding your greatest love, your highest adventures, the joy that brings you into the paradise life that you've always wanted to be living. It all starts with you and going deep inside.
Everything golden.
Featuring Francesca Rose and David Starr, where miracles come true every episode. Here are your hosts.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
So we want to welcome our guests, Bill Holman and Catherine Lanigan. That's correct.
That's right.
Everything golden. And thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you and the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull.
Well, we're so excited to be with you guys and the good work that you're doing for humanity. And it's a blessing to be a part of that and helping you, and we're having fun with it too. That's the whole thing. Have fun.
Absolutely. What is the story behind the skull, and what have you been doing with the skull?
Okay, I've been learning and remembering, and that's been going on, goes back to the first time I saw a picture of it, and that's back in the 1960s. And it was like something was there. It was like an old friend, and it really caught me and connected with me. And after I was able to start spending time with the skull and connecting with it more, yeah, it's a growing process, and it's different for everyone. That's the exciting part of it, because we work with a lot of people and bring them, because what it does, it helps them to connect with their inner self and bring that essence of what they are and release the blocks that stop them. And it's a joy to do that. So in doing that, it's a learning thing for them, but I'm learning all the time too. So I find that it's, what I'm doing now, it seems to be like a snowball going down the hill. And it really, you find that the legend is that there's 13 of these skulls, and each one of them is programmed a little different. And so it's, and knowing about the skulls, but not knowing all the different capabilities. So that's why I've been changing and learning and finding ways to be able to help humanity in an easier and better way. So I take it with fun, to have fun in life and bring that joy into the hearts of mankind. We're ready for that right now. We need the joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who don't know, what is the story behind the skull? Where was it discovered, and what makes it so special? The most special spiritual artifact that is known on this planet.
Well, the thing about it, nobody knows who made it, how it was made, or where it was made. They have all these questions, and this person thinks it's this and this, but one can really say for sure. Yeah, it was found by a British explorer, F.A. Mitchell Hedges, who was looking for a connection between Atlantis and the Maya. And he heard in British Honduras, which is now Belize, that there was a city that was buried deep in the jungles. And he wanted to find it and open the city and bring out whatever he could find at the site. And so he got all this stuff together, and he started an expedition starting on the coast going in, and he was able to find the site where the site was, but it took him like 4 to 6 years just cutting, chopping, and burning to bring 7 pyramids, a ball court, spiritual centers, all out of the jungle from being completely covered. They say it was covered for over 1,000 years when he opened it up, and that's the site where the skull was found. And since he was looking for a connection, he didn't really realize what he had found at the time. But it's a very special thing. But it has a lot of special gifts as far as it has like a consciousness to it, and it has a knowledge of great amount of knowledge because it's been programmed. The indigenous say with the knowledge of the universe, and so what it is now, we're just coming to a point in humanity where we're starting to bring that knowledge out and helping mankind with that knowledge.
And this was discovered at a time when there was no tools to be able to shape crystal, or like there's literally no piezoelectric impressions or anything. Like somehow the skull was created with some alien technology because it didn't with humanity, nothing existed to create such a so is the feeling that this skull was even created on Earth or off Earth?
Okay, yeah, it's made against the grain, which is impossible because crystal is it's a very hard,
Brittle.
but it's very brittle, and so if you tried to go against the grain, it wouldn't be here. It would just crack. So it's made that way, which is kind of impossible. It has lenses and prisms, which is really amazing, built inside the crystal. So it takes the light and moves it in different paths around through the crystal. Like if you put a light underneath it, there's a 90-degree turn that takes it out the eyes. So it would probably be pretty exciting for some of the natives to have a light underneath it, a fire or something that they put underneath all of a sudden, and see the lights of the eyes lighting up and shooting out light would probably get their attention pretty good back in the day. But
Yeah.
it also is as far as there's no tool marks on the skull. They've tested it many times and no tool marks, which is not really a major thing when you fact is it's got lenses built inside of it that takes zero gravity to
Mhm.
be able to make a crystal shape the way you want it to direct the light through it. So, and it has, it's besides piezoelectric, it's also got element 77, iridium. It's very much a part of it, and that is something that would come from meteorites or it would come from I guess they say
Yeah.
volcanic action. So
Mhm.
whatever it is, it's a very special thing. And what you have to do is have to be around it to really appreciate what it is and what it does. Because it's really been programmed. One of the main things it's programmed for is helping people to remember this universal love, this great love coming from the Creator, this ancient love that when it touches people's hearts, it makes changes in them where they are able to remember into their past. So it's really very exciting. And I mean, I got a good job because I can go around and change people's lives and make them, bring out their happiness and joy. So that's a good job.
It's awesome. That's so cool. In your opinion, just being around the skull for so long, I started connecting to it and I heard like I saw too, like the Mayans definitely having like a hand in it. And I don't know anything about the skull, but I heard the skull say death of all illusions. So it's the energy is facilitating the death of all of our illusions, which I thought was really cool. In
Yeah.
your opinion, yeah, where do you think like it was created? If you had a guess, like
Okay.
personally.
Okay. Because I've been around it so much and I've worked with a lot of people and I've experienced a lot of meditations with working with it. I feel, yeah, because it's not of this world and I believe it's here to help humanity. I feel that it was brought here from a race that brought it here at a time that it feels it needs to be here to help humanity at this pivotal point that we're in right now. So everything is adding up to what's happening right now. And that makes it very, it's pushing, but it's very exciting too.
Definitely. I can feel the energy. It's super strong. I'm sure everyone who sees it or is listening will be able to feel the vibration. It's that powerful. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah, but it is, you'll even through the Zoom and stuff, it's really surprising, but it really comes through, especially for certain people that have the connection. So,
Mhm.
there's, I used to try to take it around to show everybody, but now I've just opened it up to the people that feel they need to see it and are drawn to it. Because those are the ones that are being drawn to them. The skull's drawing certain people to it now because it is helping them in their evolution and their growth. So,
That's fascinating. That is so fascinating that it's calling people to its energy. That's
yeah,
wild.
it's what's a neat thing is, well, the reason they made it in the shape of a skull, and why would you say that? What it was is they wanted something that was, the skull is very, very beautiful. It's, it's got dolphins in the cheekbones, like here's the head, the tail, and the fin.
Wow,
It's got double
Gorgeous.
dolphins, which is like Lemuria.
that's incredible.
Wow.
And if you look in the back, it's almost like you're seeing two halves of a human brain. And sometimes he looks like he's really thinking, which I would have to say he probably is. And if you look in the eyes, that's where it takes you into this whole world of crystal. It's like a crystal palace. It's like when we do some of our meditations and we go and we're at this great crystal castle, uh, temple, whatever. It feels like it right when you look in the eyes. You can you see it and you feel it and you go right into it. So that's cool. So
It looks like there's like a angelic being in the nose. Like if you look at
There's
it.
actually like right now inside there's a bunch of angels and some masters, and they're opening up like this peace construct, like when there was this complete peace on Earth, and the skulls is telling me just remember and come into this. I've had the opportunity to like work with the skull and Bill and Catherine for it seems like a few years, but I'm it's so amazing. So if you intend to connect your third eye with the eye of the skull and just go into its light, it has all of these super high consciousness, and it knows all of your gifts. It knows it can connect you to ancient memories of yours, and you just let yourself go into it and follow it, and let it take you to where it needs for you to open up or be healed. And so if you want to do that, I do want to ask Bill.
mhm.
Um, there are many stories of people making a connection to the skull and all of a sudden being healed, something within them, within their heart, a total freedom. What kind of stories or what have you seen traveling the world and being responsible for the healing of the skull and the connecting everybody to these higher consciousness?
Yeah. Well, I take it around, and what I do is I don't say that the skull will heal anybody, but I do say that if there's a reason for something to change in a person and remove, because when you have something in you, it's usually something that's a misunderstanding or imbalancedness. And the skull is, by balancing out the frequency, it changes things in people's lives but it doesn't do it for everyone because some people want it to be that way. And so you can't take the responsibility of taking something that they have built for themselves in a negative way away from them unless they're ready to do it. So
Hmm.
but has it done, I've got Anna Mitchell Hedges had thick files of all these different people that have written and thanks for different things, everything from uh, people with different problems or different other things, uh, you know, just being healed or changed. But it doesn't. It's not just for healing. It heals more the spirit and the soul more than the physical body. But so it's really important. I can't go around telling them you're going to get healed, but the thing to do is you act like a cup of water with nothing in it. And when you come to the skull, it's like you don't go there with a full cup and accept more or try to push it on the skull or the situation. Is to come with an empty glass and with open heart and let the skull do what it needs to do. It could be a healing, it could be this, it could be that. Usually, what it really does is help people see, like you were saying, a lot of people have these different gifts, and that over the eons or even in this life, things have come up in their life that put blocks in it. And I say it's like a river flowing down the hill, and there's all of a sudden this big boulder right in it, and it's blocking everything. And once you can take the boulder out, everything balances out and it flows naturally. So what we try to do is come in balance with the person and open up their hearts and their gifts to open up this energy and come in back to that power that they have, because we're all gifted with different things from the creator, and we have a tendency to hide it away, disbelieve it, or whatever. But the more you come in contact with it and realize that when you were 4 years old and you were seeing these invisible friends or whatever it was, and somebody was making fun of you and you hid it away and you didn't want to ever think about it because you don't, it felt bad when they were making fun of you. So, but now you're in your 30s, 40s, whatever, and you're still under that blockage. So we like to open up those blockages, free them, and allow you to take back your gifts, which are yours from the Creator, and use them and become your full being, your full self.
Love that. That's so awesome. And do you feel like it's an energy conductor too? I just keep hearing that, like, I'm an energy conductor.
It does definitely connects energy. Sure, it does. Yes, it does. And when you feel that, it does send out different things. Like right now, it's just in a state of peace and joy, sending out that. So it kind of makes you feel the calmness, the peace, the love, and the joy. The skull said, "Oh, don't forget the joy," because it wants us.
Definitely.
Yeah, it wants people to take back their power. It wants them to create a timeline where they have joy and peace and love and everything. And with all this bad stuff that's happening that you see around you, it's not controlling you unless you allow it. And if you can take back your your consciousness, you stay in a place of not for it or against it. And then when you want to do something, you think about how you want your life. You want put your friendship and your health and your joy and your prosperity. All those things are yours. The only thing that keeps us from anything is us. So it's a matter of learning to take back your power and being all you can be. And in doing that, it becomes faster and easier and a heck of a lot more fun in life to have put the good stuff out there. So the skull has been really pushing joy, peace, love, and freedom and happiness. And that's what it's kind of telling everybody, to put that in your heart and become that.
Love that.
So I feel that nothing is coincidental. And so with Mitchell Hedges going down, discovering the skull in Mayan ruins, looking for a connection to Atlantis, the skull definitely has even more of a connection than Atlantis, but you then end up coming as and becoming the caretaker of the skull for many years, a long time now. And my feeling would be that would mean that you have a connection to both Mayan and the Atlantean timelines. And you are on this divine mission to help people on because these were both timelines of ascension, and we are on
Right.
a timeline of ascension now. So would you feel that is somewhat accurate as your divine role is to help people with the ascension?
I've been, drawn to that and pulled to that, and I believe in it. So, yeah, as far as the Atlantean, the skull is before that period of time, but it's gone through major historical civilizations. And when Atlantis sunk, that's where it ended up in Central America and with the Mayas. And, they even, when you talk to the shamans and stuff, and I have very good friends that they're shamans, and their grandparents, their grandfather was a shaman, and he worked with Mitchell Hedges on the site. And he talks about the fact that, it's here to help humanity at this time. So they really understand it much deeper than we do, and that, that's just find that very interesting for sure.
And this is not a normal podcast. Normal podcast would just be asking some questions, but we are also some healers, and we thought we'd ask you because there's a lot of people out there that feel this connection to Lemuria and Atlantis, and there are some people who have Atlantean wounds. We were wondering if you would be able to guide us into a small meditation where we can connect to everybody who's going to watch Lifetimes in Atlantis and Lemuria, help heal the Atlantean wounds, and help bring in those Lemurian love-based energies in a short, maybe 5 to 10 minute guided
Very much.
meditation.
And it also would help them see how easy it is to connect with the skull, and how they can be using energy to help humanity. So at this time is really important. So yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Lead the way.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm
Very-
feeling a lot of Atlantean angels around right now.
Atlantean
Yeah.
angels. Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really, because of what's different things, they're really here trying to help us and back us and guide us, because there's been chances in history for this to happen, but this is a major uplifting, and it may not take everyone, but the people that are ready. I think it's ready to go into the galactic family is what we're really working on doing, and that's pretty exciting for sure.
Great. So if you are just tuning in, everybody, we would just welcome you to find somewhere comfortable, to get somewhere where there's quiet. You can close the door and have this 10 minutes of just peace, and just breathe into your heart and exhale and intend to connect with the skull as Bill is guiding, and just allow the healing and the activations to come through. And it's going to be the most beautiful experience. So I'll let Bill take it away.
Okay, and right now that skull is sending out that beautiful love and joy. So just feel that joy coming into your heart, and it just surrounds you with joy and peace and ability to be all that you can be. And there it is, right there. So now start your slow, deep breathing, and we're asking guidance and from the skulls. We're asking for all the masters and guides and ascended masters and galactic warriors of light, galactic councils that are working with us directly to be with us and help spread this love and light. And there it's getting stronger and bigger. And put your mind right at your third eye and looking up into the heavens. And you just feel this beautiful light coming down from the heavens, from the Creator. You see it, follow it down, it's coming closer and closer. And just let it go right through your crown chakra, right through your body, right out your feet, right through the top of the skull, through the skull, into the earth. And we're sending all this love deep into the earth. deep into the earth, and it goes down until it touches the heart of the mother. And the mother has such deep and wonderful love. And you feel her love coming back up through your feet and into your heart. And to feel like the connection between mother and father right in your heart, connection up through the skull, lighting the skull with this light and love. And from the skull, you'll see a beam of this beautiful light, this mother father light energy, and it's flowing right out to your heart and filling your body with the love. And just let yourself go up higher and higher. Higher and higher. Find your sacred self right there going up, going up. Now, what I want you to do is we want to send that energy to the North Pole, to the South Pole, to the East, and now the West. And just let it circle the earth with this beautiful light. It's a golden light that we're bringing around the earth. And all through you. And as it does, it's connecting with all your lives and all your future lives, all coming together now in one. And let the joy touch it all. Let the joy and let the light healing dissolve any kind of darkness, negative, anything that shouldn't be there. Release it now. Let it go into the light. And as it does, all you feel is the love from the Father, the love from the Father and the Mother. Feel that love. You're loved so much. Now you're able to free and go and send that love throughout anywhere that you feel needs it in this world, other worlds, whatever. Send the love, send the light, and you'll see how easy it is. And as you send the love, just see how well it's accepted and how much love comes back to you. Because the more you give, the more you receive. So send the love, send the light. Do it now.
There's one thing that I can add to this amazing meditation that I'm seeing the skull talking for everybody here is to visualize all of your soul lifetimes, including Atlantis and all these Earth lifetimes, as little grains of sand, little particles, and to take them into your hand, which would represent thousands and thousands of lives, and let the skull and the heavenly energy purify, heal, cleanse, connect you to your highest love consciousness. It just takes those dirty grains and turns them into these crystalline beads of purifying all of the energies in all of these lifetimes. So you could take a deep breath in and just let go of all those old energies and let the divine counsels come through. The angels bringing in just amazing golden light and ascension energies through you. It's was just coming really strong. So I'll pass it back over to you there, Bill.
Yeah, just hold that in your heart now. It's yours. It's your blessing. So take the blessing in, and always with blessings, always be grateful and say thank you. The more you thank the angels, the divine, the more blessings come. So just be open to receive and open to thank, and the joy will be yours. Wow. Okay. Being thankful, and now I'll bring us all back on the count of 5. Just feel your energy coming back to your body. Feel the light and protection around you. I'm going to count on the count of 5. You'll be completely back. 1, just feel the energy moving back into your body. 2, just feel it coming out your fingertips and toes as it runs through you. 3, hold that love. Remember that love. It's yours. 4, you're almost back. And 5 now has been counted. Come back whenever you're ready. God's love. God's love to all of you. Thank you, all those divine ones, for your help and guidance. Thank you, David, for your beautiful, beautiful soul and heart. The skull really appreciates and loves you for sure.
I love that skull. I tell you, I love you guys. I love the skull. Um, Honor to work with you and the skull in as many events as possible. At I'll to be frank, so I've been working with you. I think it feels like it's been a few years. It's close to that, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we've been
almost 3. Yeah.
And so it's we've done a lot of work, and I saw the magnificence as soon as I first connected with the skull. It knows all of my records. It helps me to assist everybody, and it's always doing things from the highest place of love. And so it is one of the most amazing things that I've ever connected to, because somehow it brings in, and or I should say, the higher consciousness beings know how to connect through it and to us, which include ascended masters. I'm always seeing ascended masters, angels inside of the skull all of the time. And it's just it's beyond gifted. It's out of this world, and it was created from such a high intelligence race. And it's just the most fascinating thing, and it's such an honor to showcase it here and allow people to come and feel the healing benefits and begin to connect to it. I'm sure you are always invited to all these amazing conferences to speak and showcase and discuss it's a heart. It is like a crystalline heart, and it's aware. It's like a magical being. It's a real consciousness, the skull, and it's been around for so long, and it always is trying to help. But how do people reach out to you? Let's say there's some expo or somewhere out there that, and they're like, hey, we want to get Bill and Catherine.
We're going to be out in Contact in the Desert the end of May, and that would be a really good time to really connect and see the skull. And that's a real opportunity, because we do Zooms, but we really don't do with people one-on-one that much anymore.
That's in California.
So if you go to California to Contact in the Desert, it's in Joshua Tree is where it's at, and it's been there. They've been doing it for years, but they have some of the top people in the field that will be there. So it's very, very interesting. And we'll be there. I'll be lecturing with the skull, and also with I'll have a PowerPoint with some of the old pictures that Mitchell Hedges took back in the 1920s on one of those cameras where you put your head underneath the cloth and you hold up the flash powder. And that's how they took pictures on these little 35 millimeter slides, glass slides. And so we digitalized them and we put them in the thing so you can kind of get the feeling of what it was like back in the day when they were going back there. But what found it interesting with some of these slides, if you found something and you wanted to remember it, if you were a pirate, you'd take a board and you put marks on the board and put an X on it, okay? And that's to show you. But what they would do is they use their camera and they would take a picture of something. And by doing that, it would remind them exactly where they left something in the past. So treasures or whatever. Yeah. That what was interesting in 2007 and 8, I went with NBC Sci-Fi to do a 2-hour show down in following Mitchell Hedges' path. And when he was in an island off of Honduras, he left a crystal statue, 18 inches tall, and he left it in a cave down there. And he was supposed to go back after it in 1938. And when the war broke out, he was needed to stay there. So he never made it back there. And after the war, he ended up in Africa. So he never made it back down there. So with the show, and I've done a couple of shows looking for that crystal boy. He's very hard to find, but from what I understand from the natives, he is still down there in the cave. So,
wow.
But is that pretty wild? Hey, what do you think, David? Should we go looking?
It sounds like a Indiana Jones adventure to me. I'm definitely up for that.
So, yeah, well, that's one thing I do like adventure, and the skull gives me what I want because it keeps my life going all the time for sure. So go with the flow and enjoy life. That's what it's about.
Well, and you also have an amazing divine union partner who is on this divine path with you, and Catherine, how has it been for you in all these years working with the skull and going on all these adventures? I don't know if we can see you. If you can come in.
I'm going to come on camera. I'm going to come over here.
Yay!
Hey, there you are. Hey, you guys. It's been a journey as well. The first time I met the skull, well, first time I met Bill, I was 4 years old. So just if everybody thinks I'm a latecomer, I'm not. I was early on the scene.
Yep.
Anyway, in 1992 or so, was the first time I met the skull. And I was up visiting my sister, and I lived in Texas at the time, and I was visiting my sister and my brother-in-law, and the three of us went over to Bill's house. He said, "You need to come over and see this crystal skull because Anna's here, and we'll see it." And I said, "Okay." I didn't know anything about the crystal skull, not a thing. And so he was showing us that. So the skull was sitting, kind of like he is right now, and my brother-in-law was like, "We need to get out of here. This is evil. I don't know what this is. Let's go. Let's leave." My sister was just like enamored. She's like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life." And I was sitting on a chair on the side, and I was getting dizzy and faint, and I started getting very transparent, which I had done from several times. And my sister was like, "Oh my God, Bill, go get her some orange juice. She's going to faint. She's getting transparent. She's going to leave the planet. I just know it." And I was just like, there was so much energy from him to me and back and forth. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but this is just more than I can handle. But I was getting a lot of information and energy and everything all at one time. And I literally almost fainted. And so Bill got me some orange juice or something to drink out, and I got better, but we left not long after that. And then after that, I saw him many times, and Bill used to take Anna around to shows and expositions and things, and I went on several of those, trips with them, and got to see when she would do her presentations, back then. That's in the 90s, back then. And then since then, now, the Skull and I do a lot of he does a lot of transmissions through me, whether it's, for a client who is sitting here, and I normally get 1, 2, 3 past lives. Pertinent past lives, not all their past lives, but 2 or 3 that are pertinent to this life that they're in now, or the situation in their life that's going on now, and why they are not. Because almost always everyone comes and says, I want to know what my path is. I want to know what am I doing here? Where am I from? They're always the same questions, who am I? What am I doing here? And what am I supposed to be doing here? And he can put you pretty straight very fast. And he also has messages that he will give both Bill and I, morning, noon, and night, all the time. So I have a direct connection with him. I mean, he talks to me quite a lot, usually in the morning when I'm getting breakfast. That's his favorite time. I have a really cute story I have to tell about the skull. He has a great sense of humor, and everybody thinks, oh, he's so sacred and all this kind of stuff. Well, he also is very funny. And so I had this dream this one morning, and Bill was sitting. We're at the kitchen table, and Bill is in his chair, and I'm on my chair, and then that's one chair is in the middle, and the skull is sitting on there. And I said to Bill, "What do you want for breakfast?" And he said, "I'll have eggs." And the skull says, "Well, I'll have pancakes." And I'm going, okay. So little things like that, one night I was getting Bill ready for a podcast he was doing, and I said, "Oh my God, we had been running around, and it was windy and everything, and his hair was all messed up." And I said, "I've got to go get a brush for your hair." And I turn around, and the skull goes, "I don't need a brush."
Yeah.
So he's got a skull sense of humor.
He has a skull.
Yeah.
You gotta appreciate
That's so
it.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it's extremely, our whole house is just a portal of love. And he's, when he's here, he's just fills it with more. I mean, all the creators love, and we have angels around all the time bringing in more love. So it's been quite interesting.
Do you think that the skull has assisted you with all the books that you've written? Because you've written a lot of angel books. Do you think that the transmissions come through that or assist you?
The answer is no. I started writing the angel books over 25 years ago, but I do know that the books I was assisted by angels, because I have a very direct connection with the angelic realm. And now I'm writing a book right now that there is some transmissions that come from the skull, but the transmissions have come actually from the angels. Yes.
That's amazing. Do you have a favorite angelic guide that you work with more so than others, or do you just have like lots coming in and out?
Well, I have about 10,000. So trying to pick 1 or 2 that I do get a lot from Michael, but I also have some Raziel, I have Haniel, Sariel, Suriel that come in, Gabriel, Raphael. Now see, now they're all going, well, what about me? Ariel, Uriel, it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of them. And I also have different teams that are different teams that come in that help with the story, that when it's concerning another person, the other team will come in and show up. So that's, medical teams and legal teams,
That's
business
cool.
teams, career teams. Yeah.
the reason she started writing the angel books. That's an interesting story.
That's true.
Just a short.
So, my father, both my parents had near-death experiences. Well, no, both my parents dropped dead at the Grand Canyon in 1987. And so they took my mother dropped first while they were looking at the Grand Canyon, and they came with the ambulance to take them to the hospital in Flagstaff. And they were wheeling my mother into ICU, and my father dropped dead outside the doors of ICU.
Whoa.
And he was dead for 22 minutes or 26 minutes, I can't remember. And they did everything, they paddled him. My mother said they paddled him 3 times. They broke his ribs, his sternum, his clavicle, and all this stuff, trying to bring him back because his heart just wasn't coming back. But anyway, my sister called me and said, Mom and Dad are both in ICU in Flagstaff, and we've got to get on a plane. She was near Chicago. I was in Houston. So we met in Phoenix, and she said, we'll get to Phoenix and then we'll get a little puddle jumper, a computer, charter plane.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to Phoenix, and we got there like at 8:00 at night, so it's already late, so, and there was a thunderstorm. Now back then, pilots took off in the middle of a thunderstorm. They were not downed by electricity or anything. They would go, I'll just fly through it, no big deal. So we did. We flew through this thunderstorm, and I thought, oh my God, we're gonna, kill the entire family in one day. We're never gonna make it there. But we did. We got there. It was after midnight by the time we got there, and the nurses let us in because the hospital was closed. But they knew we were coming, and my dad was sitting up. He was in ICU. By that time, they had determined that my mother had altitude sickness, so she actually did not have a heart attack or anything. And my dad was sitting up, and he said, "Oh, Kath, I'm so glad you're here. There's so much I have to tell you about what happened to me when I went to the other side." And I said, now he was very, very Catholic. And so Catholics do not call the other side the other side. In fact, back then, that wasn't a term that was really used all that much. Now we think nothing of it, but that's 40 years ago. And they called it heaven. And I said, what do you mean about the other side? And he said, well, that's what they call it over there. They call it the other side. It's not heaven. I went, okay. Mm-hmm. And he said, I want to tell you about the being of light who talked to me. And I said, you mean an angel? He goes, no. Angels are the other guys. They're over there, but the guy that I was talking to was the being of light. And I said, okay. And I said, what did he say? And he said, well, the first thing he told me was I was going to go back. They were sending me back. And I said, why was that? And he said, because I did not learn the only lesson that a human being is sent to earth to learn, and that is the lesson of love. And he said, I apologize for not telling you that I loved you, because I do love you. And I want to tell you I love you. And he told my sister they loved her too, and my mother. And then he said, and then the being of light told him that he said, you're going to write a book, Kath. And I said, well, since I've already written about 9, that would not be anything new. And he said, well, your writing's going to change now. Now you have to write books about what I just went through and all those angels that you saw when you were a child. And that I didn't believe you, and your mother didn't believe you, but they were real. They told me that all those stories were real. And you're going to gather stories from other human beings that have seen angels and had experiences like mine, where we've died and come back, and other kind of sightings of angels. And you're going to put them in a book. You're going to chronicle them. You're not going to edit them. You're not going to change them, just the way that it happened. And you'll put them in a book. And then when you die, you will be judged on those books.
No pressure.
Whoa.
Wow.
Talk about
That's
being under the
amazing.
gun there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wonder why you have so many. Just kidding.
So I just keep on writing and
Yeah. Well, the thing of the lesson of love is so important.
it's so important.
Because we forget, I grew up in a time where, if you feel love for someone, but you don't always say it, they say, I love you. And you say, I do too. But you don't ever just say you love. And since that
without prompting.
Without prompting. But when you really think about it, these are the most important people in your life, and you're not opening your heart to tell them what you feel.
Yeah.
So just taking a little time to just say I love you to someone that really has your love and it's really important. It's life changing. So I found that was a very big lesson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are so afraid of loss that they don't fully open their hearts. They think if you give all your love, you're not going to be able to handle it once you transition to the next realm. That
Right.
you just feel like, oh my God, I can't give all my love. But I learned that lesson. I just, open up your heart fully and just give everybody your love, because it's silly to hold it back because of fear of loss.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And you're just so much happier when you give it all the time. I mean, I tell my plants every time I plant a flower, I tell them, I love you. I love you.
Aw.
And I sing to them and I talk to them and yeah.
So now
That's
we're gonna play music to them now.
Now I'm gonna play music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna line up the Mozart and the Bach and the Strauss waltzes right away.
Yeah, they'll be out there dancing.
They do dance. I had
They
some.
do. They
Yeah,
move.
I know.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have seen times when they're like bowing their little heads, and I'll go and I say, I love you, and I want you to I want you to perk up and be happy and pretty, and they'll literally just start to straighten up, and I go, I told you I love you, and it really works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
I had no idea. Do you actually do sessions with the skull and people? Is that something that you look for, or you don't want to?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
we do.
we do sessions, and they're just half an hour sessions, or hour sessions.
An hour is usually what everybody
And it's
gets.
usually, we're doing it on Zoom, which works out really
Yeah.
good because the energy it works
It's very strong.
strong.
We have a website. It's www.mitchellhedges.com, and they can go on there, and there's a whole booking calendar on there where they can pick their day and their date and the time.
Yeah, we don't do that many, but we do them.
But
And
those are the ones when Bill was saying that the skull calls them. It's so interesting when I talk to them and they say, I don't know why I feel that I actually have this compunction, I'm compelled to talk to the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull, and I just have to do this, and I have to do it right now. And we just had one the other day that she called up and she said, "Look, I want one tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
they're from all over the
But they're
world.
all the world.
Yeah, that's so.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But he is literally calling them, and Bill will tell you this. He gets so happy, he starts smiling, he gets excited, and you're going, if this guy could jump up and down, he'd be doing it.
And it's
So yeah, we do a lot of sessions with
and
folks.
that's really interesting is because since it's drawn to see the skull, the people that we're getting are really interesting people.
Yeah, really interesting people.
And so it's
Just
really
lovely,
cool.
lovely souls, and
Yeah.
just very, very nice people. It's just great. It's been very, very heartwarming, and then to see so much change happen, right away, and I get very emotional. I will tell you, he'll start telling me about a past life, and I get very emotional about their past lives, and then how they go, and he's accurate all the time. I mean, there's not been one single time that he's missed something where somebody
these are
says,
some
"Well, I
really-
connect with that."
really
I mean, weird stuff.
like
I think it's weird.
like people being locked inside windows, where they
Bricked into a wall.
bricked into a wall back in the 1600s and
Right.
stuff. And
Yeah.
how and because of that,
Murdered for the money for the family,
different things,
Yeah.
and then by breaking through that, it's
Then their whole life has changed.
yeah,
I mean,
it's really cool.
it was really, really interesting. It's really interesting. And, but to be honest, we're getting a lot of galactic connections now, the
Wow.
last, month or so. I mean, wow.
Well, look what David's doing.
I know, but,
Yeah. So we're more, because it's more of a, like you're doing it, taking them all past way back, different things. But
we're doing the same thing. But
I guess
just
we're doing
kinda-
the same thing,
kinda,
just a little different.
just a little bit. The method is different, but the result is the same.
Amazing.
Open them up.
Yeah, the skull
Yeah.
and your connections. There's no coincidence why you're together. The Atlantean,
Oh,
the
right.
Lemurian, the skull, healing all
Yeah.
these people, doing all these events, traveling the world, speaking about consciousness and love and the skull and this
Yeah.
magical ascension that we're all on. Like you're to me one of the most important couples on the planet because
Well, thank you.
you're leading the way with such a relic of love to help
Hmm.
all souls and the ascension. And I mean, it's an honor having you on this podcast. And I really hope that everybody who listened really enjoyed that meditation. It's just a blessing. And I would say that for anybody who's watching, if you have this feeling that maybe, yeah, this session would be good, don't wait. It's so rare. Imagine like because Bill and Catherine are some of the busiest people that I know. They're always busy. So imagine how much time they have. It's probably not a lot. And to actually get an opportunity to have a session with the skull and with their amazing connections. I mean, I would say if you're feeling it, just look up mitchellhedges.com and check it out and book it and do it for yourself because
Yeah.
when your heart speaks to you, listen to it. That is the secret.
Boy, that is the
That is
secret,
the
Dave.
secret of,
It really is. You know, if
look where it's taken us.
yeah, right.
What is it? Where is it taking us in the last couple of years, right?
Well, it definitely took us into an adventure with the Ascension and Divine Ray
Vine
together.
Ray.
It's a
Yeah.
higher, and anybody who doesn't know what that is, I'm definitely going to do a whole segment on it on one of these podcasts, but it's a higher consciousness social media that's meant for people who want positive, high consciousness, high vibrational content. And to be in that energy, it's like listening to this podcast. You're in that energy, and it's going to have so many positive effects on your life and opening doors, magic, and just bringing you into that joy and happiness. It's similar. That's what Divine Ray is going to do, and you can just search it on the Google Play or Apple App Store, and you download it for free and start tuning in your divine wisdom and start participating in this really amazing high vibrational social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor to
Absolutely.
be um, partners with you on Divine Ray. I
Our
couldn't.
honor as well. It truly is. I mean, we have. I just love walking down. I feel like we're always walking down the yellow brick road together.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, so amazing.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention too is, Bill mentioned about us being on the West Coast. We're also going to be on the East Coast in New York. We're going to be in Lilydale, New York at the end of June, on June 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th with the skull. And we have private sessions that are going to be there at Lilydale, and they can go to lilydaleassembly.com to book a ticket. And I'm giving a lecture on angels, and he's giving a lecture, a couple of lectures, I think, on the crystal skull. And so even if you're all the way in New York or Boston area, we are doing something this summer for that as well. So we're all parts of the country covered.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you need to put the contact information.
Yeah.
Do you have the website?
www.lilydaleassembly.com.
Contact.
Oh, contactinthedesert.com. Literally. www.contactinthedesert.com.
Yeah, and that's coming up soon. That's
Yeah,
just another month.
that's just May 29th, 30th, 31st, June 1 and 2. Yeah.
And a lot of the people that you've watched and heard and been on the different podcasts, they're definitely going to
Yeah,
be
George Norrie will be there. Michael, no, what's his name? Henry. My mind's a blank. Anyway, it's a good lineup. It's a really good lineup at Contact. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's good.
That is fantastic. Do you have anything that you want to ask Francesca before we?
Do you have a message for the collective before you go? Anything that the skull would like to say?
Let's see. The message would be, you know, we're working on following our heart and listening to that voice in. And the more that we're doing that, the stronger the voice. And as we do it, we become a collective force to the light and the good.
That's
So
right.
as we work together, even when in different areas, different parts of the country, but as you're working and opening to this divine energy, this divine ray, you're connecting to a part that's going to it's making the difference in the world. And the being able to control your mind and be able to imagine the greatest thing for you, your family, your friends in the world. And as creator beings, that's what you're making, that timeline. So
You're creating that timeline.
yeah, concentrate on that, let it go, enjoy it, and be it. And that's, you don't have to fight it or work. You just go and
Just
be.
let it be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what really is happening. And the ascension is being brought to us now, and it's all around us. And they just have to love things, start loving our lives and loving the people and loving what we're doing, and it'll all be taken care of.
That's right.
That was beautiful.
And
Thank you.
and it's fun.
It's fun.
We're all about the fun here.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to all the exciting times that are coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Join the
great.
Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull group in the Divine Ray app, and you'll see some amazing content in there as well. And I'll put all of the links inside of the description of where you're going to be in the events. So when it goes out to
Yeah.
all of the podcast worlds, like the Spotify's, whoever's looking on it will see the links as well. And then I'll also put it into the video for those who are watching it on the Apple podcast or on our social medias. So everybody will have the full links, and they can come find you at Contact in the Desert or at the Lilydale.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, David.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
Thank you guys. Well, this is everything golden, and definitely that Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull is golden, bringing in the golden dreams, the golden era, and the golden ascension. And so thank you all for
Thank you.
coming on to our
Thank you.
podcast and sending our love and gratitude to you, all that you do, your amazing divine missions, and for being on the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Have a
Thank
great,
you.
happy Easter.
happy Easter.
Yes.
Bye. Happy Easter.
Everything golden.
Finding your greatest love, your highest adventures, the joy that brings you into the paradise life that you've always wanted to be living. It all starts with you and going deep inside.
Everything golden.
Featuring Francesca Rose and David Starr, where miracles come true every episode.